Hola,
Sebas,
¿Qué tal, Enzo? A los años.
¿cómo están? ¿Qué tal? El tiempo, Sebas. Un segundo.
Alan, va a ser en inglés, ¿cierto?
Va a ser un mix, va a ser Spanglish. Arthur, por ejemplo, como él es de Brasil, va a pichar en inglés y de ahí en fuera los otros chicos me parece que en español. Entonces,
Ok.
ok, entonces voy presentando. So hey everyone, guys, thanks for your time on our Saturday. I'm excited for this because I also learned a lot once I heard the feedback and the pitches from other guys. Today we have an amazing guest that probably many of you know. His name is Enzo Cavalie, and he has the #1 blog and podcast for startups and venture capital in Latin America. He's also an associate in
Spanish Latin America.
in Spanish speaking Latin America. So he also is an associate at Rich Capital, and he has been in the world of venture capital, if I'm not wrong, since at least 4 years, 4 or 5 years. And like that, I think that everyone knows Enzo. So what we are going to be doing today is that we will have 4 makers pitching to Enzo. The rules are like everyone can pitch either in Spanish or English, whatever you feel more comfortable. You can either use or not slides, that depends up to you. And you will have 15 minutes in total. This will be timed so that we all respect the time from everyone. And the order will be Arthur, then David, Sebastian, and Santiago, but I will be saying afterwards, like who is the next when one finished. So besides that, I don't know if Enzo, if I missed something, if you want to introduce yourself as well, or if that was okay.
No, I think that's all. Just thanks for having me. So
Perfect. So the first one coming to pitch is going to be Arthur. So it's your time, Arthur. You have 15 minutes in total.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. I normally don't like share my pitch because I used to normally send before, but I did like some changes so everybody could like get into the same vibe. So can you enable me to share my screen, please? So nice to meet you, Enzo. I'm Arthur.
nice to meet you as well, Arthur.
There you go.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
And see my screen also?
Yep.
Perfect. So, so Nave is a house of brands that builds innovative wellness consumer brands in Latin America. But instead of like buying brands, we build them from scratch, and we did this, and we do this at scale and profitably. So let me give you a quick introduction about our founders and how this connect with the whole story of House of Brands. So me and Felipe worked in a House of Brand in the US that launches Javi, Shine Armor, big brands there. And they do this, like they have a playbook that could be applied for growing brands from scratch in different market segments. So they launched Shine Armor first, that it's a DIY car cleaning product. I can show you later if you want. Javi, it's a coffee concentrate. They also launched Miracle brand, that it's like a towel with silver on it to like be, I don't know, anti-microbe. And they could do this is in different market segments. But when I see this model, I really like it blows my mind, because in that time I had an agency. I worked in 2 times, two places in the same time. So I have an agency with junior people, and we were running, I don't know, 15 clients. We already like hit 7 figures a year, but I saw this people running like with the same core team, like a bunch of brands and having much more scale that I was doing with my agency, and I really saw an opportunity to apply this in the Brazilian market in Latin America. But instead of doing with a bunch of brands, like a bunch of segments, if we focused in one market, we could like win much more scale. One, because they have to hire like lots of content creators for applying the playbook, and they have to do each time for the segment. So for Shine Armor, they have like car content creators. For Javi, we have like a bunch of wellness content creators. For Miracle, like the same. So if we have like one focus in one market, like we have the same content creators, we have the same distribution center, the same manufacturer, the same like physical retail. So once we connect one brand and grow it, the next ones will become much more easier and will be much more cost efficient. So we decided to focus in the wellness market because it's one of the fastest growing market like in the whole world. And after COVID, it exploded. And in Brazil, like this, it's a huge market. It's even bigger KAGR than the whole world. And also when we see like the consumer behavior in Brazil and in Latin America, to apply this playbook that used a lot of content creators, like in Javi, we used to run like more than 2,000 content creators providing content so we can use as ads. So when I see this like this data, like it blows my mind because it's 20 times cheaper to advertise here. So this is the core strategy. We use content creators at scale with performance marketing. So it's like the influence set on demand, the like I named the strategy, but you name it. And like we have the highest average spend on internet. We have like the most I don't know, like 41% of Brazilian reports having purchased from content creators is the highest in the world. So I really saw this opportunity to bring this playbook here. So I reached out to my team and said, guys, I know you like working with clients. They was 6 interns, so they do a great job, but they was very junior. So they were very junior. So I reached out to them and say, let's like change our model. Let's test it. I like this model, and we are going to do it with wellness because I'm a heavy user and I kind of know how to identify the trends. So in that time, COVID was hitting hard. It was 2021, middle 2021, and people was like having problems with their cognition, with their memory, with their focus. So we saw that this would be our first product. In the United States, nootropics and brain supplements, like it's a decade trend something. And in Brazil, we were just like having one, 2 players. So we could really like apply this playbook and win the market. So in 1 year, so we developed Noom from like 6 months, developing, right, reaching out to the best manufacturer, like getting the product done, tested, and then we launched it. And in 1 year, we hit it 100K in gross revenue, hit break even, and got like a very decent profit margin for the first year, like at scale, like growing fast, and doing this all with a very junior team. So like we never did this before, like growing a brand from zero, and we could do this for the first time at a very decent metrics. Sorry guys, there's dog.
That's so there's a war there.
No worries, no worries.
Just a second.
No worries. So I don't know if from here, Enzo, have you had like any feedback from what you have seen?
Okay, sorry
Or how
guys.
do you go back?
I can go back now. So sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So after we did this with one brand, with Noom, in that case, we saw that if we could like apply it to the max and like really how can I stress the playbook, like we already have the content creators and influencers. We already build a very solid partnership with the best with some of the wholesalers. But if we could like keep expanding, we already like expand our wholesale network. We'll have like a very good go-to-market playbook ready to like plug and play other brands, and we already have a very active customer base, like very expertise in product and the best like platform fees. So we were creating a brand launching ecosystem, and as more the more brands we launch, the better, cheaper, faster, stronger brands we build, because with the right with the ready to go content creators and influencers, our cost effectiveness and the speed to launch campaigns would be very fast. We have the better payment terms with our wholesalers, so like this is all there. I will not like read every single thing, but
Sure.
like if the wheel keeps going, we already have like very good brands. The other brands will be even better, you know. So our next brand, we already ready to launch. It's going to happen next year. It's the first period care supplement in Latam that sells with the subscription model. So like women's spends 1/4 of their lifetime in PMS in this period. So it's a very Latin problem, and we are developing a supplement with the same manufacturer with Nestle. So it's a very high quality supplement, and we are launching next year. And so we believe that if we apply this playbook very well, we can create a wellness brand powerhouse with profitability first, because consumer with this playbook, it's not just digital that can like cuts your profit margin and just like impacts your cash flow. Since we have digital and physical, we can increase our cash flow and really expand to the point that we hit the break even for our brands. So
Arthur,
this multi-brand model. Oh, go on.
there's 2 minutes left, so I think you.
Oh, just 2 minutes. Okay.
Or let me know.
No, I finished. Sorry, because the dogs okay, no problem.
No worries.
Yeah.
A few questions. One is, how much do you plan or would like to raise?
Yeah, we are planning to raise $500,000.
Okay.
500K.
Okay. So look, when I listen to your pitch, it feels a lot like it's a very non-VC pitch, more like a private equity or financial, like an investment bank would do a pitch. Because you've never talked about, who's your customer, literally, or who you're serving. And so, which it doesn't mean it's wrong upfront. What it means is you have to be aware who you're talking to. So if you're talking to an early stage fund that's investing in you on the market, I think you should make a thesis on, well, I think you probably did it on the team side, but not on the market, and where you have insights on specific segments on the because wellness is a very big market. So okay, what are the specific insights you have on the wellness market and specific and sub-segments within it? And hence you have a playbook or know what are the right products to launch and actually make great products and be able to build this portfolio of consumer and wellness brands. Otherwise, the questions that arise to me are, okay, for example, in the next product, do you plan to launch I think it's a women's subscription, and you mentioned, if you are focusing on 10 wellness products, and wait, actually, to get to 10 or 20 successful wellness products, you need to launch 100 or 50. I don't know. Unless you've proved that you have 100% success rate, which I don't think. So it's like you're basically taking up. I'm investing basically in another investment fund, which is you, right? So you have to prove that track record of successfully launching not one but many brands. And then as an investor, I have to ask myself, why would you be better at serving this particular segment, the women's subscription you talked about, than a brand when you have that brand, but you also have 10 other products which are in different segments versus a specific, I don't know, some bootstrap business in Rio from a girl that is, I mean, she's great at products. She understands the problem because she has it herself, and then she decided to launch an e-commerce product to solve her own problem. And she doesn't raise money or whatever, but she can still build a good product for that specific segment. And I think that's an important question that you didn't answer, if you plan to build this portfolio of products. And yeah, I get the content creators at scale, performance marketing. It's very similar to other what has happened in other consolidation plays. I mean, regardless of where you actually buy the brands or develop them yourself, in the end, it's both are consolidating. The business logic behind it is the same, which is, hey, there's a lot of infrastructure around content creation, around performance marketing, operations, logistics, that doesn't make any sense to have, 20 independent 1 million ARR brands, 1 million run rate brands. It's better to consolidate them and have them under one umbrella where you can get synergies on the back end of that. So, but it doesn't matter if you buy them or you actually develop them. The business logic is the same. So, I mean, you can probably, I think, learn a lot from cases. I know, like, actually, in Brazil, I heard of a company that's doing that for SaaS businesses. So you probably should check on that. Then also, I mean, in restaurants, foodology in Latin America, I bet in Brazil there's one. And there's a few more. There's a Peruvian one. I forgot the name right now from a friend. And also in e-commerce, there's been like a lot during the last 2 years. So I think you should look into those cases. There are some successful, some that have burned a lot of money, and take learnings because I think, especially if you go to VC investors, they would have that in the back of their minds, and that would bias themselves either positively or negatively against your business, because it's the business logic, even though it's a different market, would apply similarly.
Perfect. I will have to interrupt so that we go with the next one, so that we don't waste any time. But thanks, Arthur. And if you have like any other question for Enzo, we will try to have it answered. El siguiente es David, founder de Straight. David, son 15 minutos en total. Yo los cuento, es un hard stop. Yo pongo el contador y es un hard stop a los 15 horas si se respeta. Como tú quieras hacer el pitch, 15 minutos en total, David. Entonces, tu tiempo.
Va, buenísimo, buenísimo. ¿Qué onda, Enzo? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo están todos? Pues primero que nada, un gusto estar aquí. Mi nombre es David Estrada, tengo 18 años. Y pues prácticamente para darles un background acerca de mí, como a los 14 años empecé con todo el tema de marketing, y desde pequeño, bueno, mucho más pequeño, era fanático de los tenis. Mi tío era el fan número 1 de Michael Jordan y yo veía que él siempre tenía sus últimos tenis. Entonces yo sabía que si alguna vez hacía un proyecto tenía que ser acerca de sneakers. Entonces justo después de estar como de 2 años estando hablando con otros fundadores, con otros VCs, me decido por fin crear mi propia startup. Entonces prácticamente la idea nace con querer crear un marketplace de artículos de lujo 100%, donde nos empecemos 100% con sneakers, en donde conectemos compradores con revendedores en un mismo lugar. La idea acá es que prácticamente demos mucha más transparencia y autenticidad cuando la gente compra online. Y para los que no estén familiarizados con el sneaker market, porque creo que no realmente, pues mucha gente como que conoce la importancia de este market y cree que todavía es un nicho, es súper importante saber que prácticamente Nike lo que hace es que cada simple sábado hace un lanzamiento nuevo. Entonces realmente el mercado es bastante grande, ya hasta solamente la reventa de los sneakers venden mucho más en Estados Unidos que marcas como Adidas o Skechers. Y desde que empezamos vendiendo sneakers, estos han sido nuestros resultados. Empezamos en abril de mayo del 2022. Actualmente ya estamos vendiendo más de $30,000 mensuales. Estamos creciendo 90% quarter por quarter y ya hemos logrado más de 750 ventas. Realmente esto que hemos logrado acá ha sido 100% gracias a nuestra fuerza que le metemos en social media. Tenemos ahora más de 100,000 followers ahí. Y para entender un poco a nuestros usuarios, nosotros a través de estar hablando con toda esta gente que nos sigue en social media, que nos ha comprado, vimos que hay como 3 tipos de personas que son nuestros usuarios 100%, los sneakerheads, las personas que realmente coleccionan tenis, esas personas que tienen más de 50 pares, que realmente buscan lo más exclusivo y le importa 100% la autenticidad de los productos que compran. Luego está la gente que compra simplemente para revender los sneakers. Estos son la gente que compra para generar profits, vende a través de canales como grupos de WhatsApp, algunos tienen tiendas físicas realmente, y los otros son como los sneaker enthusiasts, que es prácticamente la gente común que no es tan fanática de los tenis, pero que realmente buscan más de 10 opciones el mismo par, trata de siempre encontrar el mejor precio y realmente lo que le importa es que tengan una buena atención al cliente. Entonces, en todo este mercado realmente lo que pasa o el problema que existe es que no es eficiente, no es transparente y realmente la gente muchas veces no tiene accesibilidad a esto. ¿Por qué pasa esto? Muchas veces la gente cuando busca un par exclusivo, por ejemplo, unos Nike Air Jordan Chicago, pues realmente lo que hace una persona normal es que lo trata de buscar en miles de lugares 100% y trata de encontrar el mejor precio. Y muchas veces al final cuando buscas por internet, como estos sitios web o estas plataformas no te dan confianza, pues tú acabas comprando 100% en una tienda física porque si vas a pagar $3,000 no te da la confianza de realmente hacerlo por una plataforma. Entonces, realmente también la gente que vende estos products pues no puede dar un mejor servicio porque todo su inventario lo manejan en Excel y realmente no tienen las herramientas necesarias para poder realmente ofrecer tanto buenos en tiempos de entrega, buen customer service, etcétera. Entonces, prácticamente acá lo que quiere hacer Straight es como conectar todos estos resellers en una plataforma. Prácticamente que tú te puedas meter a buscar un par y que te aparezcan las diferentes opciones de tanto resellers y precios diferentes, en donde nosotros te ayudemos y seamos ese backup para asegurarte como todo este tema de la transparencia tanto en precios y asegurarnos de que realmente cada producto que se venda por ahí sea un producto 100% auténtico. Entonces, sabemos que la forma de que un marketplace funcione o que realmente ganar este mercado es haciéndonos del stock. Entonces, nuestro enfoque va a estar 100% en crear una herramienta para que los resellers realmente puedan administrar mejor su inventario. Y si logramos que esta plataforma en un principio sea totalmente gratis para los resellers, pues al principio así es como nos hacemos de la mayoría de stock posible y que la gente pueda tener mucho más acceso para prácticamente ver sus sneakers o sus mejores opciones. Entonces, una de las cosas que estamos implementando también acá como diferenciador acerca de las otras marcas que hay, porque actualmente realmente la gente que conoce sobre sneakers y que sabe de este mercado, ve a los otros marketplaces solo como otra simple tienda. Y nosotros no queremos ni siquiera hacer competencias de ellos. Nosotros queremos crear ese lugar en donde tú te metas y puedas comparar mucho mejor precios con distintas tiendas, con distintos resellers. Y una de las cosas que estamos creando para la diferenciación es que, no sé si han visto lo que tiene Stock como autenticación para sus pares. Nosotros estamos teniendo prácticamente con NFC tags, en donde cada uno le estamos poniendo un certificado de autenticidad digital para que la gente pueda acceder como a todos los puntos que se verificaron sobre sus pares prácticamente. Y realmente ahorita empezar a enfocarnos en un mercado en Latinoamérica donde se mueven más de 11 millones de pares año con año. Entonces, mi cofundador y yo nos conocimos realmente hace como 4 años, pero él ya tiene más de 7 años en la industria de los sneakers aquí en México. Él fue uno de los primeros en crear tanto e-commerce en donde vendía sneakers, conoce a todos los resellers. Nuestro Head of Technology estuvo en Netflix y nuestro Head of Growth estuvo en una empresa que se llama Multiplica. Y realmente ahorita lo que sé que me queda como founder ahorita es rodearme de mucha gente que ya ha pasado por esto. Entonces, es por eso que hemos sumado a inversionistas increíbles que la están rompiendo acá y que seguramente nos están apoyando como en todo este proceso. Y la idea que es simplemente no quedarnos en un marketplace de sneakers, sino realmente esto poder crearlo en un ecosistema de donde podamos literalmente cualquier producto de lujo 100%, poder hasta llegar a financiarlo dentro de nuestro marketplace, en donde pueda ser fashion, donde pueda ser accesorios, donde puedan ser relojes y que al final la gente pues pueda como tener esa confianza de comprar por ahí. Ya en el pasado ya estuvimos en Platinum Venture, también levantamos más de $500,000 con fondos como Angel Hub, Live is to Short Capital, y ahorita justo estamos en proceso de levantar nuestro seed round para prácticamente finales de año estar llegando a un revenue mensual de $120,000 y empezar como tanto crecimiento de nuestro tech team para realmente un marketplace pues utiliza demasiada tech. Entonces creo que ahorita nos falta mucho más para iterar en ese tema y pues prácticamente ese es un poco de la historia de Stray, de cómo fue que empezó y de lo que hemos construido hasta ahorita.
David, ¿te molesta si te hago preguntas en inglés?
No, dale, adelante.
So, para que todo el mundo, porque entiendo que hay gente que no habla español, para que todo el mundo entienda. So, what's your value for the reseller? Is it organizing their inventory or getting them more customers?
Yeah, at the beginning is the managing the inventory management. For example, most of the resellers in Mexico manage their own inventory in Excel. So we want to start with this like benefit for them, and in the future, obviously, it would be start getting more sales for all those resellers with our platform.
Okay, but my question is, how big is that a pain point? All small businesses in Latin America manage their stocks in Excel.
Yeah, sure.
There's not a ton of SaaS for it because Excel just works. And asking, actually, I have a cousin that is a reseller, not in Mexico, but in Peru.
Okay. No, yeah, like basically we see that most of the people, like for example, if they are resellers, they could like offer a good customer service. So our managing our inventory management platform actually works also as a like tool for communication with their clients, so they can basically send them updates, send where if their shipping is already in the mail, etc.
Okay, you said there's 11 million, how you say pares, I don't know, like 11 million a year like in this space in Latin America. How much of, like, how fragmented is this market? Like, how many resellers, you have any idea, are participating? Like, is it,
for example,
it sounds like a market very easy to consult. One reseller can get very big, very easy.
Yeah, for example, in Mexico, there's about 5,000 resellers, and in the world, the market value is about $33 billion, and in Latin America, it's about like $2 billion with just sneakers. So basically, in Latin America, it's starting like growing. So we already see that this market also works very well in the USA, and it's starting growing here in Latin America.
My question is not around actually market size. I totally see the market, and because I've seen what my cousin has done in Peru with selling this thing. So I have no questions around it. My question is like, because if it's just, I don't know, 100 resellers that are doing 90% of the GMV, then that would be a very hard business to make.
Yeah, sure.
No one be able to charge. I don't know how much you plan to charge these guys in terms of take rate.
Our fee
How much
is
are you charging?
what? Sorry.
How much are you charging right now?
The fee is about 20%.
Okay, so the $30,000 that you do monthly, it's GMV or it's gross revenue, sorry, or GMV? Or
Yeah, it is gross revenue.
Okay, so you're getting 20% of that. So it's like
Exactly.
$6. Okay, and what has been the reaction from resellers about the 20%? Do they think
yeah, for example, we already paid more than the other marketplaces because they basically take like the 30 or 40% of the fee transactions. Because in the beginning they take like the 15, but they increase the price for the final user like other 20%. So we are paid them more than the current marketplaces.
Okay, and how much do you get from that? Like, what's your net?
What? Sorry.
What's your net take rate? Like, what's your margin out of the 20%?
Yeah, we have like a 35% margin. So we now are 2 months to get profitability. We are burning like $8,000 every single month.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you are confident you can maintain this 20% take rate?
Yeah, we can basically get like to a hybrid business model. We can have our own like retail sneakers, and basically the fee transaction is about the 15 or the 20%. So yeah.
I didn't get that first business model. Do you mind explaining a bit?
Yeah, because basically we have like some currently we have some bots to basically buy sneakers in retail price. So now our one business model is to like we are one of the resellers. Yeah, exactly. And then we want to start getting more resellers with the other business model.
And what do the resellers know you're also resellers?
Yeah.
They're fine with that because you could, I mean, there can be, I don't know, like some particular, I don't know, version of a shoe and you have it. And why would you give preference to the reseller instead of you?
No, yeah, because basically resellers can control their own price. So basically, if they want to sell them in our platform, they could step down in the price, or maybe add another like functionality, like maybe an offer, a discount, or more free shipping, etc.
Okay, is your CAC is? Sorry, do you see repurchase?
Like, repurchase? Yeah, sure.
On the demand side, do people buy, I don't know, one pair a year, two pairs a year? What's
for example, the sneakerheads buy like 10 sneakers a year, like in an average, but the resellers are the ones who also buy more in some marketplaces. They could actually buy like a 10 per month or even more because they actually buy only sneakers to generate profit. So basically, like a normal people, like the sneaker enthusiasts, buy like 4 to 5 sneakers every year.
So you have resellers on your supply side, but also resellers on the demand side.
Yeah, exactly.
What they sell them like offline for a profit?
Yeah, exactly. They sold in their sneaker stores because they can sell with a higher ticket in their physical stores, but people want to buy online, but there's no some platform in Latin America to give that transparency or give that confidence buying online. And one of the things we want to do is that with these NFC tags, we can create like a organic viral loop for people who wants to like demonstrate like, oh, look, my sneakers, they have a NFC tag, etc. So basically this is like the beginning of this marketplace. We started with also just custom sneakers, and now we are growing like our tech team. Finally this seed round, what it's going to be to increase our resellers and basically expand to our first verification center here in Mexico.
How many resellers do you have right now?
Interrupt. There is 20 seconds left. So if you want to.
Okay, we already have 6 resellers here in Mexico. We have like 10,000 products basically with all those resellers. They have a physical stores here.
Is it easy to acquire them?
Yeah, because my co-founder knows a lot of the sneakers resellers here in Mexico.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Thank you, Enzo.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. So the next one in the line is Sebastián from People. Lo puedes hacer en español y en inglés, Sebas, como quieras, con slide o sin slide.
Sí, acá tengo unos slides. ¿Qué tal? Mi nombre es Sebastián Hurtado, soy el CTO de People. Y en People lo que hacemos es que los pacientes crónicos completen tratamientos de alto costo. Nuestra visión es ser de acá a 10 años el ecosistema digital de adherencia a la medicación para pacientes crónicos más grande en todo el mundo. Actualmente 3 millones de personas mueren cada año porque no se adhieren al tratamiento, es decir, porque no siguen las instrucciones del tratamiento que están siguiendo. Esto implica un montón de pérdida para la farmacéutica, aproximadamente 637.000 millones de dólares para la industria a nivel mundial. Y además esto también se ha aumentado por la falta de evidencia de tratamientos y de seguimiento de tratamientos en países emergentes. Y si a eso le sumas que el manejo del cáncer ya es agotador y complejo, pues tienes un problema bastante complicado tanto por el lado del paciente como por el lado de las farmacéuticas. Lo que nosotros queremos hacer es proveer información del tiempo real, en tiempo real, del mundo real, enfocado en Latinoamérica por ahora. También queremos hacer que el paciente sea más organizado con su tratamiento, más consciente y que se adhiera a este, y al mismo tiempo aumentar los ingresos para la farmacéutica, ya que un paciente adherido al tratamiento es un paciente que tiene mayores probabilidades de sobrevivir. También esta solución es interesante para las compañías de seguros u otras instituciones, incluso instituciones estatales. Actualmente somos un asistente virtual impulsado por inteligencia artificial por los últimos avances de OpenAI y que usamos principalmente el canal de WhatsApp para llegar a los pacientes. Nosotros monitoreamos, planificamos y también educamos a los pacientes en efectos adversos, planificamos sus citas, sus tratamientos para hacerlos regulatorios y monitoreamos su estado emocional y de síntomas. Todo esto para hacer que el paciente tenga un buen manejo de su enfermedad, cosa que ya muchos pacientes hacían en agendas físicas. Pero toda esta información de las agendas físicas se perdía en este mundo físico y no podía llegar más allá de esto, ¿no? Ahora, esto no es solamente un problema que nosotros creemos que es interesante, sino que también las compañías farmacéuticas invierten una gran cantidad de dinero en sacar información de este mundo físico, mediante programas de apoyo al paciente principalmente. La idea es que para hacernos suficientemente interesantes para estas farmacéuticas o para otros actores del ecosistema farmacéutico y de salud, es proveer la herramienta de manera gratuita para llegar a más pacientes, generar network effects, recopilar datos, mejorar el producto, mientras que podemos cerrar acuerdos B2B como pilotos y entre otros contratos. La idea con los hospitales es aumentar la retención de clientes a través de una mejor experiencia de usuario y reducir costos a través del telemonitoreo. Para la farma, planeamos hacer o aplicar una tarifa de $500 por año por paciente inscrito en el programa, lo cual es bastante menor a lo que ya se gasta en otros programas de apoyos al paciente. Además de eso, a diferencia de estos programas de apoyo al paciente, nosotros también poseemos esta gran cantidad de data que podemos aplicar actualmente para identificar las barreras de acceso principales o de adherencia y en un futuro para identificar cuáles son los mejores planes de acción para hacer que ese paciente no deje su tratamiento. Ya sea como pagarle un taxi para que pueda ir al hospital, hasta financiar tratamientos en un futuro, etc. Esto no solamente interesa a las farmacéuticas, sino también es una herramienta o es data interesante para compañías de seguro. El tamaño del mercado lo hemos proyectado como de 3,5 mil millones de dólares para el año 2032. Actualmente está en 2 mil millones de dólares. Y esto es a partir de 3 millones de pacientes con cáncer en América Latina que necesitan tratamiento de tipo biológico. Si bien los gobiernos están haciendo un montón de esfuerzo para cada vez cubrir más y más estos gastos, el mercado, el aumento de pacientes con cáncer que se puede proyectar es mayor al incremento del gasto público y por eso todavía queda bastante espacio por cerrar. El siguiente mercado al que apuntamos es un mercado de 40 mil millones de dólares y corresponde a todas las enfermedades crónicas, no solamente al cáncer. Actualmente hay soluciones en el mercado que entienden las necesidades del usuario o entienden las necesidades de la farmacéutica, pero muchas veces se quedan cortos al momento de hacer que el paciente converse con las necesidades de la farmacéutica, que es básicamente obtener la data de los tratamientos, ¿no? Además, el mundo de la salud es un mundo bastante localizado, por lo que hay que tener bastante conocimiento de cómo funciona el sistema de salud a nivel local. Gracias al equipo fundador, al entendimiento que tenemos sobre las farmacéuticas y a la gran ejecución que hemos podido hacer los últimos meses, hemos crecido de 0 a 1.500 usuarios en este tiempo tienen una retención de 77% después de 4 meses. Y el mes de enero cerramos nuestro primer piloto con SICAN, que es una de las ONGs más grandes de cáncer en el mundo. Y el próximo mes vamos a comenzar un piloto con AMANC en México, que es nuestro mercado objetivo porque el mercado de cáncer en México es mucho más grande que nuestro mercado local en Perú. Ese es el equipo que está haciendo todo esto posible. Tenemos gran experiencia en el sector farmacéutico, en el sector de startups y personalmente en el mejor recurso en español de startups. Y no solo eso, sino que también tenemos una gran conexión con el problema en sí, ya que nuestros padres tuvieron cáncer y actualmente estamos trabajando para crear una herramienta que nosotros creemos que puede haber ayudado a nuestros padres durante este proceso. Aparte de eso, tenemos talento mucho más senior dentro de nuestro advisory team, gente farmacéutica, gente que ya ha trabajado en digital therapeutics, o sea, en aplicaciones enfocadas en este sector, y gente en investigación. Y eso sería todo. Sí, ahora estoy abierto a preguntas.
Sebas, igual no hay problema con que te hable en inglés, ¿cierto?
No, dale.
So, who from your team knows hospitals, big pharma, and insurance?
That will be Piero Cosme and Brito Campo. They both have experience in Roche and Johnson & Johnson.
Okay. Because your team slide, I don't think communicates that. And I think that at least because okay, just for context, how much you plan to raise? Or what are you raising? What's the I don't know, round, whatever?
Yes, right now we are not currently raising, but we are planning to raise between $1 million and $2 million in the next year.
That would be a seed or a pre-seed round?
That will be a seed round.
Okay. What milestones do you plan to have before raising that round? Like, sorry, where do you want to be, I don't know, in the next 6, 12 months before going and raising that seed round?
Mm-hmm. One of our milestones is to close more pilots with pharmaceutical companies, and also to achieve the milestone of having 100,000 patients in our platform.
100,000, is it?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, putting myself in the because okay, if you're, and this is just like fundraising theory, but usually if you're raising a pre-seed, it's a bet on the team and on the market. I think the market is sort of obvious. I'm not sure it's super obvious, but it's a big market. It's definitely an important market. In the seed round, you're investing in still, I think, a bit less in the team, a bit less still in the market, and a bit more also in the thesis, the product, whatever has been built, and the traction you can see. So as long as the company, the farthest you are from the pre-seed round, the team matters less. And my point, and I'm saying that as context for if you want to raise a seed and you're going to hospital, you have to, especially because selling to hospitals, big pharma, and insurance is no minor challenge. And I mean, what I think most how can I say it? The biases or the limitations you'll face from going into VCs for a seed round, because also a pre-seed you can raise with angels, whatever. For a seed, you probably need a lead investor. You're going to face the fact that they'll say, okay, these guys look super young. They've probably never sold an enterprise contract themselves to insurance, big pharma, or hospitals. So that would be my first reaction. Okay, what gives me confidence that these guys can sell? At least one of these guys understands what's needed. I mean, from the three of you guys on the team, understands what's needed to sell one of these, super big enterprise contracts. And there's a ton of founders with much more experience of how to struggle to do that, because obviously it's on one side it's big companies, and also they're very slow to adopt technology, etc. There's regulation, I imagine, and probably by country. So that's the thing. I think if you have it, you have to make it more clear the last slide. And I mean, I'm personally not fan of the advisors unless they have very relevant experience. Yeah, your advisors have relevant experience, but they have relevant experience for the US. Selling big pharma, hospitals, insurance in the US is totally different than Latin America. It's still very hard, but very different. So I wouldn't take those advisors as, at least personally, very relevant, because I know selling in Latin America to a health sector is very different. So that's to start on the team side. Then you said big pharma is willing to pay $500 per patient per year. Based on what you have that conclusion? Like what's the market validation you've seen in terms of spend from this type of clients in Latin America?
Yes, based on other programs for patient support, some of these programs are focused on very specific or niche types of cancer, but they're up to $3,000 or $2,000 per patient per year.
Veo el comentario Magali. Magali, creo que hay gente de Brasil en el grupo, en la llamada. Por eso creo que es la mejor forma de hacer que todos puedan. Al menos que me digan, no hay nadie de Brasil, yo feliz de hablar en español. Pero al inicio había gente de Brasil. Y viene la invitación por eso. No quiero hacerlos sentir que no pueden entender. No me gustaría si yo estuviera en su lugar. Por eso hablo inglés. Sorry, Sebastián, me perdí un poquito. Okay, pero so do you have specific examples of programs?
Yes.
I think you should put them. Like, I think because my first reaction at the beginning, you talked about the lack of adherence to medicine, which I'm not sure if people in general are aware of that. My ex-girlfriend was a doctor, so I'm very aware of that. She talked a lot about it, and I think that's something that people in the health space are very aware. I wouldn't take. I'm not sure, guys. Did the rest of the team, the people in the call, knew that lack of adherence to medicines was a big problem for the health sector? I mean, people look surprised, so it doesn't seem like everybody knew about it. So I wouldn't take that for granted, that when you're talking to an investor or a VC, unless they have a health background, which I don't know any VC in Latin America at least that has a health background. So I wouldn't take that for granted. I would try to make that problem more familiar to them. Or in your case, it's just focus on what's. I mean, I think my bigger problem, or my biggest challenge understanding what's the problem you're solving on the market you're going to, is that you talked about many people. I mean, not to make a a joke with your company, but you talk about patients, hospitals, big pharma, insurance. So it wasn't clear to me I think you should just focus on one specific customer, given the stage of the company. You can put at the end, like, yeah, this is the market we're going right now, but eventually we can go, I know we're focusing on hospitals to start because it's just easier go to market, but then this same data, this same product, this same user base that we are building is also valuable for big pharma and insurance. We will do that, I know, after Series A, for example, or after Series B. And so that gives me the know that, okay, this is a bigger market than it seems right now. But at the beginning, it's not clear to me who are you solving. I mean, I think it's clear for the patients, but you're not going to make money out of patients. At least that's what you're not. Otherwise, you will already be charging for them.
Sorry to interrupt, Enzo. There is 10 seconds left from this one.
So yeah, I think you should just make very clear what's the first problem you're solving for whom, and make it very clear what it's a big problem for them in terms of monetization and where they're losing a lot of money, and then nail the go-to-market, because I don't think the go-to-market in this market is I mean, it's not a consumer product. You just run Facebook ads.
Perfect. Thanks, Sebastián.
Thanks, Enzo.
Okay.
Lastly, we're going to have Laura Ortiz. I think it's you, the one that is going to pitch from HEM. Puedes hacerlo en español o en inglés. El feedback va a ser en inglés, pero tu pitch puede ser como quieras.
Vale, listo. Ya les comparto pantalla un segundo.
Y me parece que se congeló, Laura. A ver.
Creo que sí.
Si no, déjame, le envío un mensaje a su co-founder, si andas por acá. Santiago, ¿sabes si Laura tiene internet o quieres pichar todo? Que te veo por acá.
Denme un segundo, hablo con ella.
Va.
Ahí está, ahí volvió.
Hola, perdón, creo que tuve un problema de conexión. ¿Me confirman si ya me ven y me escuchan bien? ¿O todavía
Sí.
no? ¿Sí? Todavía no me deja. ¿Me das permiso, por favor, para compartir la pantalla?
Ya, listo.
Listo. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Laura. I am one of the co-founders of HEM, and I'm with Daniel and Santiago. I met Daniel when I was like 12 years old during National Science and Math Olympiad boot camps and Santiago Science Day 1 at university. Plot twist, Daniel and Santiago are best friends since high school, and the three of us ended up studying biomedical engineer at the same uni. Together, we are HEM, and we're going to show you how we're bringing healthcare closer to everyone. I am sure everyone here knows at least one person who has diabetes, a cardiovascular disease, cirrhosis, or kidney failure. These chronic conditions are preventable if identified and treated at an early stage. But still, every 1.5 seconds, someone dies out of it. And almost half of them remain undiagnosed, meaning that the patient never receives adequate treatment until it is too late. Not only that, healthcare systems spend millions treating chronic conditions that would have been much cheaper to deal with at an early stage. And why does this happen? Blood testing is crucial for early diagnosis, but it's also a huge funnel for it because it represents a lot of pains for the patient. Accessibility to labs is limited, especially if you live in a rural area. Blood testing is an uncomfortable process, and the bureaucracy to get one discourages a lot of patients. This is how HEM is born, and we want to democratize healthcare by making blood testing simpler. It consists of a paper test that changes of colors when exposed to different blood concentrations and a mobile app capable of interpreting those changes of colors. So the patient is intended to prick his finger, put a couple of blood droplets in the middle of the paper test, wait for the color change, and take a picture through the HEM app. Then this will show the concentrations of glucose, cholesterol, albumin, and creatinine, and indicate if there is something wrong and allow them to communicate with their physician. Our app displays interpretable results and collect them in a data analytic platform for healthcare providers and insurance companies. This data centralization allows healthcare providers to monitor patients and also to make better decisions. In this way, we can easily identify abnormalities within the medical results, improving early diagnosis and also optimizing resource allocation. And why now? During the pandemic, people gained trust in rapid testing as it not only was readily accessible, but also it could make a huge difference in their medical outcome and treatment. Moreover, the enhanced growth of telemedicine brings us a unique opportunity for parallel expansion in a context when the prevalence of blood detectable illnesses is a growing concern. In order to get this solution to everyone, we have a B2B approach with healthcare providers who are interested in dismissing the cost of delayed treatment. In Colombia, 98% of the population is covered by the healthcare system, which allows us to have a wider coverage and have a greater impact. We did a case study with Compensar, and we found that by using our solution, they will save up to 58% of the current expenses designated to the treatment of preventable chronic diseases. If we extrapolate it to all the healthcare system in Colombia, it will mean an earning of $330 million per year. Since our foundation, we have proof of concept in lab conditions with a glucose test. We have engaged key partners interested in our solution once it's available in the market, and we developed the matchmaking algorithm and the app that has already received user experience feedback. We took part of a startup accelerator program in Switzerland. We have already incorporated and deployed our IP strategy, and we keep iterating on our research and development process. Right now, we are looking for a pre-seed investment to build a product that complies all the medical regulations and execute pilot tests in the market. Then this is the team. You already know us. We are a team of biomedical engineers with different backgrounds and experience in biomaterials, microfluidics, and artificial intelligence. And we are backed up by a successful founder of a telemedicine platform, DocDoc, David Vigio, who is a leader within the healthcare industry and has a lot of experience. Joseph, who is the director of the biodesign group of Johns Hopkins University, and a renowned scientist who invented the patent of the paper-based technology that we are using. This is us, we are him, and we're bringing healthcare closer to everyone. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So who has done this before? And what have you learned of it? Because I've heard about many companies doing blood testing. What's different?
Yes. Okay, so yes, there right now I think like paper-based, like COVID tests, pregnancy tests. Also, there are like pH tests that can be done in urine. We know a couple of startups that are also using this technology, but I will say that our main approach is that we actually understand the system, the context that we're working on, and we are not doing this as another solution, but also like trying to incorporate it within the healthcare system in Colombia and also in Latin America, plus all the data analytics platform that we have for the interpretation of the data for the healthcare providers is a plus that not all other companies are doing. Also, we have a technical competency, like a lot of people is doing these paper-based technologies. However, sometimes it is hard to make it scalable. So we are implementing like new ways to do that. And this is also a way that we could kind of like patent or work.
Okay, but my question was more around not exactly what are you guys doing different, more about what things did you feel like previous companies have failed at? Like, what were their mistakes? Because there's many ways and you can solve their mistakes. I'm talking about more the problem, like what do you feel were, and what's wrong in their product, in their approach, probably in who they were selling it to, like those kind of things.
Okay, well, linked to what I said, I will say that maybe it's in the way of selling it. A lot of these companies have a B2C approach. So they go to the people and say like, hey, yeah, take this, you can make yourself feel better. And they focus also on preventive healthcare. But honestly, like we are not at that point yet. I believe us as a society, eventually people will start to take care more of themselves. However, right now, if you go to someone maybe of our age offering a test just because you need to know what's wrong with you, or if you want to have like a preventive approach, probably not a lot of people will buy it. And that's why we do the approach through healthcare providers.
Okay, that's interesting. So you feel like going B2C with a preventive healthcare solution doesn't make sense because it's too early for Latin America.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's how it should be. However, not a lot of people does it. Like nobody will actually spend money if they are not feeling wrong. Like even myself, when I feel like kind of ill, what I do is like take some Dolex or medication instead of actually do something about it, because it's simple and the culture of preventive healthcare is just not here yet.
Okay, so okay, I agree with that. I think just based on my experience, we have a lot of self-medication, and I wouldn't think people in Latin America care about preventative care, whereas in other more developed countries, people are probably more the other extreme. So
yeah, totally.
okay, so and you said okay, so you're saying the consumer doesn't care, but the healthcare system cares because it creates a lot of costs, right?
Exactly, because right now, as for example, with the example of Compensar, like the healthcare providers have a burden, because still, if someone doesn't get diagnosed at the right time, then later it's going to have worse consequences for the patient, of course, in their health, but also for them, because the treatment is more expensive. So even for one person that is diagnosed on time and somehow they can go on that prevention pipeline, that is already saving money for them, because only one person that goes undiagnosed goes 2.6 more than someone that doesn't.
Okay, so what this slide tells me is Compensar is currently spending almost $26 million on what? What's PCD?
$25.8 million on the treatment of chronic diseases.
Okay, and is this an estimation? Is this real? Like that you're telling them you're almost saving them $15 million?
Yes, this is an estimation that we did. Like we have talked with Compensar a lot. We have a couple of meetings because we want to get a pilot test with them, at least on our digital approach so far, because the test is not ready, the paper test. And this is an estimation of what they will say with him. We will have to see how accurate it is when we actually implement it, but I think it's pretty accurate right now.
Okay, so if you're saving them this amount of money, and when it says system, it means the whole Compensar like user base, or what do you mean by system?
Other, like the whole system, like not only Compensar, but also Sura, other insurances companies within Colombia.
Okay, so if you can save the system up to a bit more than $300 million, it means you can make your market size is a fraction of that.
Yeah, like in Colombia, yes. What we have to do, like in our business model, the way we do it is that we plan to charge per user that uses the test and the app and the platform, like charge per user. So it's kind of like that.
But you're charging to the healthcare provider, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, but your price would be a reflection of these savings. They wouldn't pay you more than the total savings, right? It would make sense, economical sense.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It will be a fraction of it.
That's like,
I'm not sure of the exact number right now, but yeah, it will be a fraction of it.
It's like a typical B2B. It's called like value equation. So you save them, I don't know, $10, and you can charge them, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, depends on how unique your product is. If there's more competition, whereas you can charge more or less. Okay, so I mean, thinking about, given that you're raising a pre-seed round, what I think you guys should do is, because a lot of basically the market unlocks where this calculation is right or wrong, right? If you make the pilot and hey, you actually don't save them $15 million, you actually save them, I don't know, just 1 or 2, or you save them 15, but in 10 years, then your actual market and your potential to make, because given that you are going to healthcare providers, there's not, I don't know, 100,000 healthcare providers. There's, I don't know, tens of them in Colombia, and probably in the rest of Latin America, in each country, there's tens of them, 100 at most. So you have to make some significant amount of money per healthcare provider for this to be a sustainable or at least interesting business from the VC or investor perspective, right? So if you're making, I don't know, $10,000 for Compensar a year, I mean, it's nothing. It's not a really interesting money. You have to, I don't know, if you're saving them 15 million, let's say you make 10% of that, that's $1.5 million. That's a shit ton of money. I mean, I would bet if you can make that amount of money, any VC will put you money eyes to. But that's a huge jump to be able to prove. So that's why I was asking, like, how real is that estimation? It's right now, it sounds very theoretical because you haven't started the pilot. So my suggestion for you guys is, okay, assuming you're the right team and you know how to navigate this very complex healthcare system, sales and processes and fulfillment and all the things that you need to sell to a healthcare provider that is obviously regulated and has relations to the government. Assuming that, then I wouldn't just go to raise with one, because this is literally as a pre-seed round, is literally I'm funding your experiment with Compensar. So
yeah,
I would suggest don't have one experiment, have, I don't know, 3 line up, like have 3 of these pilots, because if literally there's only one chance, right? So if it fails, then you guys are basically back to square one. So my suggestion would be try to get at least, I don't know, 1 or 2 more of these pilots near the line before starting, and then going to raise, hey, you're basically funding this. If this goes right, then we basically can make, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars per year per healthcare provider. I think that's a more interesting pitch. Yeah, from a VC perspective.
And there is only 10 seconds left, so I guess that was it.
thank you so much.
So thanks to everyone. Thanks to the guys who pitched. Thanks to Arthur. Thanks to David, Laura, and to Sebastian. Thanks to you, Enzo, for giving us some of your time today. And if you don't have any other comment, Enzo, thanks a lot for your time. And well, see you till the next time, guys. Thanks for coming.
No, thanks for having me. Cool to do this. Bye, guys. Have a nice weekend.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Enzo.